That's a great question. I started noticing several weeks into the program that when things happen during my day or week that would normally send me into a spin, whether it be something during the day with work that was stressful or a child meltdown, I was able to pause and see it for what it was as opposed to being drawn into it and reacting. Prior to and during the program, I had a lot going on in life with separation that had happened earlier in the year, a career change, a new home, new school for my children. And the program not only changed the way I saw all of that unpredictability and call it chaos, but it also helped me to navigate it in a way that was healthy and clear. The biggest pattern was guilt and what I call self-flagellation. I would often blame myself for things when it comes to being a mother, which is the role I hold dearest in my life. I had a lot of guilt and self-critique around that. And that was a pattern I really wanted to break away from. What I was trying on my own that wasn't working was external remedies, excessive exercise, or chasing more external accolades. So, what I was trying on my own was very much outward focused rather than understanding what was happening inside. Someone I admire quite a bit had shared their experience, and it wasn't what I typically thought of, but I saw someone else that had gone through the program and how it had changed the way they saw the world. And that was what was more intriguing for me. It was the change in how she saw herself, because that is part of how you see the world. And that's what I wanted to also understand and experience. It's been very nice to not need things to drive me because now I'm starting to understand what's within me that can drive me and a feeling of wholeness that is enough to motivate me rather than seeing what I'm lacking and I need to fill as motivation. One of the biggest ways that it started helping me advocate for myself was understanding that an inward focus is not selfish and that two things can be true at the same time. You can care for others, you can be there for others, but you can also be there for yourself. Before the program, there was a lot more judgment associated with types of feelings. And so those that I thought of as positive previously, I could feel the love, joy, abundance. But anything negative that I saw as negative, so fear, anger, sadness, I would just put away. What we learned is that by feeling those feelings, it actually opens things up instead of bringing everything crashing down, which is what I thought would happen. It actually allowed for a more diverse set of feelings and opened up to a lot more. So it was a good thing. Oh, so many surprises. That's a hard question. Well, starting with the really surface level, what surprised me was how easy it was to commit to this, both in the time spent in session and the time I'm spending every day meditating. So that surprised me at surface level. I didn't think I could do that and make time for myself. On the deeper level, what surprised me was how many things that I thought were the cause or reason for things. So, for example, triggers. And it surprised me how when we dug deeper and started to peel back layers, the actual reason or challenge was something way different. And the things I thought were the actual problem were just side effects. So it's really cool to and surprising to be able to get to the deeper stuff and understand what's behind so many of my actions and processes and the way I see the world. I'm definitely more curious. Whereas I used to take things at face level of, oh, that upset me because now not only am I allowing myself to feel upset or feel things, but I'm more curious as to what the underlying reason for that is. Why does it upset me? And where can I explore and be curious about other ways of believing or other ways of seeing? And I think that all also ties back to not being motivated by. So when I used to feel a certain way, it would be because I thought I was missing something or I wasn't doing something well enough. Now I get curious and say, but what truly is underneath that? And how do I shift that from being motivated by a gap and reframe how I see myself, my ability, my worth? So it's been a really cool process of getting curious and going inward. One, it's rooted in a practice that allows for you to just be, and that's meditation. A lot of therapy is trying to fix things very quickly in the talk therapy I've had. And then, second, to be rooted in a practice that allows for existence and being, it's different from therapy because you're in a very empathetic environment with other people that are going through things as well, not all the same. And being able to be inspired by others and find camaraderie and connection, it's not something that you often find in talk therapy, even if you have a wonderful therapist. And the third thing I would say is that talking is so valuable, but it's just one piece of healing and growth. And the program allows for us to not just talk, but also to practice, to workshop, to feel things in real time outside of our sessions. And I feel like it goes a lot more deep than any therapy I've gone through. So many ways. The first biggest way that I feel different is I ride waves instead of getting splashed in the face by them. Oh, that I'm learning, still get some splashes. And so I don't feel highs as high and the lows as low. And then second to that is I have given myself more grace and, dare I say, more self-love. From that place, a lot of other positive outcomes are in my every day-to-day life because my relationship with myself is better. There's a lot more levity just in my day to day because a lot of the judgment that I used to have, the shame, the self critique, it's not there as strong. Again, it's not gone. But by not being so hard on myself, by giving myself more grace, by showing up, protecting myself, I'm able to have more fun, be more engaged with life around me without all the feelings of heaviness. I'm proud for going for it because I've been thinking about making a change for a long time and trying something that goes deeper than therapy. So I'm proud for joining the program. And I'm also proud for really taking seriously and learning from you all, from the practitioners that are doing this based in science, all the people that you've helped. And so I really took it seriously, got deep in the science too, which I loved, and committed to it. I was just talking to my mentee about an hour ago, and she's someone who is also very hard on herself. So I think in general, achievers and people who tend to motivate themselves by being incredibly hard on themselves, I think it's perfect. But then I also have people in my life who do give themselves grace and maybe haven't addressed some trauma or feelings because they are able to live life smoothly. And they would be great for this program too, because you can open up even so much more, even if you're in a great place. You don't have to be broken or challenged. You can just do this to get more out of life. I want to reiterate that the word effortless and how much of this centers around ease, lack of friction, it's not an accident that there's a word in that. This program, it's hard in ways you don't expect, and that's going deep, but the effortlessness comes when you're able to commit and be disciplined without it feeling like a commitment and discipline. And so I think people really need to realize that all the excuses we have of, oh, I don't have time, think about the word effortless. Because when you're in it, it is effortless. And it actually is something that propels itself if you do it right. So commitment's not as hard as it sounds.